It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another fantastic Friday, and it's fantastic because you are up with us. My name is Mark Daniel.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, wishing a happy Friday. Do you?
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy summer solstice, everybody. So in honor of my good friend, Dr. Freed, longest day, shortest night, longest day, shortest night, longest day, shortest night. Yay! So if you notice that the sun has been up a little bit early and it's just going to be bright all day, we are in the middle of our summer solstice. So absorb all of that sun's energy. And for those who are celebrating the Atonus New Year, Happy New Year.
I love it. Get your vitamin D today. There's no excuse. There's extra sun. So when does the sun set today?
I don't know. We should find out. We should ask Brother Godfrey, our in-house
Oh, yes.
meteorologist. He can tell us, right?
If only we had an expert.
Say after 8, right? See? After 8. So you got plenty time this afternoon to exercise, hit the beach, do that little extra cleaning in the yard, take that lap around the neighborhood, go ride a bicycle, do your chores, whatever it is. Take advantage of the sun, because without the sun, what are we? We done.
Wow, that was profound,
Very
you know.
profound.
And we just thank God for the melanin as well to help us absorb the sun.
Exactly. How was your week, Dan?
I had a great week. I mean, it was very regular, but it was a great week nonetheless. Got a lot done, and yeah.
And here we are.
Didn't
the
feel
weekend.
overwhelmed.
Good. That's good. You cruise through and then have a nice, easy breezy, sunny weekend.
I had a nice balance of, I think, Bahamian entertainment and external entertainment. I started the week by seeing GFP Air's March On, Bahamaland, which was really, really great. If you have a chance, you definitely want to catch that at the Atlantis Theater. And then I got to watch Bad Boys 4,
there
I
you
guess
go.
a little bit later than everybody else. So yeah, I felt like I supported local, but I also enjoyed an international.
I'm afraid to watch movies past like the second, iteration of it. I feel it's going to ruin the whole series for me. Should I watch it?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
This was not one of those movies. They really found a way to kind of breathe new life into the storyline, which was very impressive for a fourth. I really did only react after people were like, it was really good. Like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I'm glad I did.
I just want to know if someone gets slapped.
Yes.
Tune in.
I won't tell you who, but there is slapping.
All right. Speaking of slapping, we slapping you with our next iteration of the Andres Business Outlook happening next week, Thursday, June 27th, under the theme Future Andres, Branding the National Identity, Planning for Success. Registration to attend in person is $90, and virtual guests can attend for $50. Register at tclevents.com. You don't want to miss it. Big yard, we coming. I like Andres. Y'all get my baked crab and rice ready. Hey, we coming. We've got a great show for you today. We got Dr. Jamico Thompson in the house, here to discuss Men's Health Month, and we'll also be discussing the Department of Rehabilitative Welfare Services in our Bridging the Gap segment.
We'll be talking about the 52nd Bahamas Aquatic Federation's National Swimming Championships, and Miranda Adderley is here to talk about the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. But before all that, we'll take our first check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. And first look at weather at sunrise. Mid-upper level troughing of western Cuba is triggering some cloudiness, particularly the central and southeastern islands, a couple of the northwest Bahamas, but for the most part, most of the southeastern islands, and that'll be the main feature of the islands over the next couple of days into the weekend, with some rain showers and probably thunderstorm in that area. But for the most part today, a mix of sun and clouds over northwest Bahamas, a few showers, maybe nicer thunderstorm by afternoon, but over the central southeastern islands, looking at variable cloudiness with the scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Your high day reaching 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a few nighttime showers, maybe a thunderstorm popping up over northwest Bahamas. Still cloudy with a breeze and a bit breezy and warm with a few showers, isolated thunderstorms over the central and southeastern islands. Regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 90 and 81. In Jamaica 91 and 81. In Trinidad 93 and 78. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 90 and 77. Across North America, Atlanta 92 and 71. In Boston 78 and 66. In Miami 89 and 79. Dallas, Texas 94 and 76. And Toronto, Canada 74 and 66. As we go to the weekend, still have that mid-upper level troughing across the islands. That's going to cause a mix of sun and clouds in northwest Bahamas. Over the central of these islands, we're looking at cloudy skies with some showers and possible isolated thunderstorms. The temperature daytime will be near the 90-degree mark, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That pressure rock, we first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Welcome back. Thank you, Godfrey. June is Men's Health Month. The annual observance encourages men and boys to be proactive in their health by implementing healthy living decisions. And here to tell us all about this is Dr. Jamico Thompson, my good friend. He's a family medicine physician. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning, man. Good to see you again.
The caffeine is surging, right? I got to slow down. So we're talking about Men's Health Month. What's the primary goal?
So the primary goal is to bring a focus to men to let them know that health is not just prostate. Health is more than that. As a matter of fact, when you look at statistics, it says that men have less life expectancy than women. Literally, the maximum I've seen, women are outliving us by 10 years. It's a whole decade, you know? And where we're leading the way is not prostate issues. We're leading the way in ischemic heart disease. We're leading the way in hypertension and diabetes and obesity, road traffic incidents, interpersonal violence, you know? And this is paying a toll on men in general from a health standpoint. Other things that we found is that even in terms of healthcare utilization, women outdoing men. You know, we have this phobia of going to the doctor, and sometimes it has to do with what your perception of health is. You know, and so we're trying to bring awareness to make sure, hey, get this done, we need to change the tides.
So why do you think it's that way? Why are we in the back of the pack? What we dealing with? What we dealing with?
Well, listen, there's a lot of factors. So you have interpersonal factors. So it has to do with how we're raised. There's this whole sense of machismo, you know. As a man, there's certain things that say we're weak, you know, having to go to the doctor because of X, Y, and Z, you know, as a weakness. Sometimes even in terms of how we were brought up, you know, there are a lot of men that didn't have male factors or figures back in the day who went to the doctor or showed them the importance of going to the doctor, you know. A lot of fellas feel, man, hey, if I'm healthy, if I can still provide, nothing going on. You know, sometimes we say, hey, it got to be a life or death situation for me to go. And a lot of times, a lot of these chronic non-communicable diseases, they have no symptoms. So literally you can be 10 years with hypertension, don't even know until a stroke or heart attack or something like that happens.
Hey, man, that's just gas.
Exactly,
That's just
exactly.
gas.
You know, so all of these things have a factor in terms of why men are at the back burner in terms of using healthcare.
Yeah, I can understand that. You know, we're generally raised to be tough. You know, we can handle that. We get a cut, just throw some bleach on it, we'll be fine, right? But how do we change the tide? How do we get men to feel more comfortable and to include regular checkups as a part of the everyday lifestyle?
Well, the whole thing is first talking about that elephant in the room. So, you know, a lot of fellas are adverse to the finger exam. You know, we call it that. And the whole point of the checkup is not just the finger exam. And sometimes there's education that's needed and we need to get it out there. So when you come to the doctor's office, the whole thing is, hey, we want to make sure that you have the best chance of lessening your morbidity and mortality. So when you come in, first of all, family medicine, the name says it all, we're family, right? We like to set a relationship that makes you comfortable in terms of the actual visit itself. The visit is just going to be literally check your vitals. You come inside, we sit down, we have a conversation, try to find out what your risk factors are. There is going to be some exposure when you talk about the annual itself, and we do a thorough head-to-toe exam, but everything is full disclosure. We let you know what's happening, why we're doing it, and then we actually speak to you. So the first time you come in, hey, we may skip out on that finger exam just because we're trying to build that rapport. But eventually you're going to find that these things are very necessary, right? The focus is going to be important too. So what I tell a lot of fellas, our heart is more towards, hey, I want to see my children grow up, you know, I want to be able to enjoy retirement because I've been working hard all my life, you know, And if you want to make sure you could actually do those things, then hey, you got to take care of number one, which is you, and that's health.
That's exactly true. And I found that even from personal experience, you go to the doctor, it's almost like confessional. I'm going to sit there and be like, you know what, I ate this thing, I haven't been running, I feel like I've been doing this thing, and even that in and of itself is a way to improve your health by just having that discussion. And
Very
like you
much
said,
so.
you might have a session where there is no contact, so to speak. You're just really speaking about your lifestyle, building the relationship, and building the rapport. So what are some of those lifestyle changes that men could make that would help improve our lifestyles?
Listen, Bahamian diet is terrible. Let's start there. So we have a heavy, starch-based diet that has a lot of red proteins, red meats. One of the things that we tell persons is get a balance, right? One of the things I've learned in my career, if you tell someone stop doing something, sometimes they can step back a little bit from you, right? But if you talk about moderation, listen, I'm not telling you can't have it, but let's lessen the amount. And sometimes give them examples, Meat size, look at the palm of your hand. Anything bigger than that, you're overdoing it. Make sure half of your plate has vegetables inside it. You could still have the starch, because you got to choose which one. You can't have the regular potato salad, rice, macaroni all out on the same plate. So the diet is going to be important. Making sure you're getting adequate water intake, right? That used to be a big problem for me. I'm a fella, I like to have something colored with my meals, right? But 6 to 8 cups of water is going to be very important.
Right.
Exercise. Right. A lot of fellas think that because they have labor-intense jobs, that's exercise for them, but not necessarily.
Right.
And so what's recommended is at least 30 minutes, 5 days out of the week of what we call moderate intensity exercise.
Right.
If you don't like to jog and run like me, you could cycle, you could swim. Some persons like to play tennis, basketball. All of these are form of moderate intensity exercises, so that's going to help. Stress relief. Stress relief is a big one. A lot of fellas would admit that we have stress, but we don't talk about the stress because, again, we're told that, hey, you're supposed to bear that down, man up, And so stress relief. I tell persons, for me, I'm an old school fella. Give me some Teddy Pendergrass and some Barry White. Give me a nice cup of white wine or red wine, I'm good to go.
Right.
My wife, she likes to swim. That's therapy for her, And so you got to find something you enjoy to do that helps you wind down at the end of the day, all right? And then definitely health checkups. Get your checkups.
Yeah, those are awesome points that you put there, especially summertime's coming around. Hydration is definitely important.
Very much so.
We're getting some of the hottest temperatures on record ever around this time of year. So, heat exhaustion, heat stress, those men who are working outside in the sun, working multiple jobs, you got to stay hydrated. But a big part of that is, that you mentioned, stress relief. And make sure you put yourself in an environment where you're actually de-stressing.
Definitely.
It might be fun to go play some dominoes and go slam a duke on your boy them, but that's still riling you up. So find a way to find that peaceful moment. So
You got it.
what are some resources that are available for men who want to improve their health or learn more about how to take care of themselves?
All right, so one of the first resources in terms of in-person, utilize your doctors. A lot of times persons like Dr. Google, and the unfortunate thing with Dr. Google is you ain't got a lot of doctors out there, right? So a lot of it is personal opinion, that kind of thing, and so sifting through the data can be a problem. And so there's certain sites that I can recommend that persons can go to. So sites like Medscape, you could even type in American Family Practice. Sometimes they have articles that are available that you don't need a subscription for. Cleveland Clinic, these are just well-named places where you can actually get patient information. So not to use the word dumb down, but if you look at a lot of medical literature, there's a lot of medical jargon. And so they have information that simplifies what we've learned, just to let you know what's happening. Even in terms of Doctors Hospital, and I'll just speak for bread and butter, we provide patient education in terms of even handouts and educational pamphlets when persons come in, depending on what's happening with their health status. And so it's just a matter of finding the right resource first, and then once the right resource is there, utilize the persons who are skilled in it so that we could provide any kind of explanation as needed.
So now I know all of our viewers, all the man them out there who are watching this, they're ready to get straight this month. Tell us, how can they find you and how can they set up, let's say, a checkup this month?
All right, beautiful. So Doctors Hospital is where I'm working at now, and we have a lot of prime care locations. Prime care is just our primary care initiative. And so we have a Dazzle Street location, Centerville Medical location. We're also located down in Carmichael Road. We have urgent care centers as well. That would be out west. We have one over by Bahamas, and we're also trying to open one up over PI. And so persons have a number of ways to be seen in terms of the financial part of it. So I could start with that one first. So if you're NHI candidate, you can sign up for NHI. Right now it's a 3-month waiting period if you haven't signed up before you're actually confirmed. persons who are with NHI providers and you're looking to switch over, not trying to pull anyone away, but you can also switch to doctor's hospital provider, and it takes about 2 to 4 weeks for that switch to happen. Right. Persons can also utilize us through our LAMP program. So LAMP program is almost like a small mini insurance, with the exception of having to pay $500 a month. Right. So literally you have $30 or $40 plans that you pay for a month. And you actually get services free in terms of prime care, you get services free in terms of imaging, and then you get discounts on some of the doctor's hospital services as well. Awesome. And then of course you got out-of-pocket pay and insurance. Right. And so Carmichael Road is where I'm at. The clinic time is from 8 to 4, and literally you give us a call, 302-3270, and then we set up an appointment for you.
Get yourself sorted out. It is Men's Health Month. I appreciate you being there, my good friend. Dropping all the knowledge on us. Men, don't be worried, man. Just go to confessional. Just go to confessional and you should be all right.
Definitely.
Appreciate you being here. Always
My
good
pleasure,
to see you,
man. Always good to see you
keep
too.
doing good work, man.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being
You
here.
too, man.
You're watching Mamas at Sunrise. It's Men's Health Month. Don't fear the finger test. We'll be right back.
About what? The luncheon? Why you always worried about food? No, about how we gotta pay a little more for national insurance. Mildred, you talking food. I can't afford to pay that. And you're always crying, palm out. Ain't gonna be much. Boss still gotta pay. 1st of July, 2024. Oh, I can't wait to get my little extra pension.
You ain't lie about that, you know. I think that's what did help my boy Tony during the pandemic. That same unemployment benefit. And guess what?
What?
Susan, I think she'd get a pregnancy benefit, eh?
You mean maternity benefit, eh? So now, we gotta do our part to make sure we get our pension. All right, well, let me try and go back to my juicy boss.
Focal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Focal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Focal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Focal, fueling growth for people.
Man, I thought retirement would have slowed you down.
It's the island life, son. Living in paradise.
Must be nice. Can't wait until it's my turn, if that day ever comes.
My financial planner has provided me with solutions for my future. Pension, retirement, and even property management.
So who helped you with all this?
Let's go, son. 2 more miles.
What's Leno?
What if you were told that you could learn about all the opportunities in all of Andros in one day? Well, you can participate in the Andros Business Outlook, Thursday, June 27th at the Andros Lighthouse Yacht Club in Fresh Creek, Andros. Register today at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. The 52nd Bahamas Aquatics Federation's National Swimming Championships began yesterday at the Betty Kelly Kenning National Swim Complex. Algernon Cargill, president of Bahamas Aquatics, is here to tell us more. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
It's great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the opening event yesterday.
Well, we had a lot of exciting swims yesterday, and these National Swimming Championships are actually the last qualifier for the Paris Olympic Games. The deadline for qualification ends on Sunday, which is the date the championships end. And that is why we've attracted 90 plus swimmers from around the world. We have a former world record holder, Yulia Efimova, for example, from Russia. She is a World Aquatics neutral athlete because of the war with Russia and Ukraine. and the World Aquatics has given her neutral status. She flew all the way to the Bahamas to compete in our national swimming championships. We have athletes from Africa, Kenya specifically, as well as from South America who are here competing, and the Caribbean. They want to swim in the Bahamas because they know that we run a pretty good meet, and we're well respected by World Aquatics. And they will be swimming together with our local swimmers. And we have about 600 local swimmers swimming to be national champions. And it's actually going very well.
So what about this event? Again, you talked about the credibility, of course,
Right.
in terms of the World Aquatics. But what qualifies this event to qualify folks for the Olympics?
Well, the facility. We have a sanctioned facility. We have several World Aquatics registered athletes, as well as coaches, and of course the officials. There are a few of us who are on the World Aquatics list of certified officials. Mansa Roberts, Gina Coleman Taylor, and myself, as well as Dewey Taylor, we all World Aquatics officials, and we certified to officiate or manage any championship up to the Olympic level. And that's what gives us the ability to have these championships sanctioned. And we are actually well respected around the Caribbean for the same thing. We go, Mansa travels, he's actually going to be an official in Paris at the Games. And we actually are very happy that we're able to get these championships sanctioned. But what is more important is that our athletes can qualify for the Olympics right here at home. Lamar Taylor jumps in the pool today. He's so far the leading male to represent the Bahamas in Paris. Renessa Gibbs swam last night. Sally Elizabeth Thompson will be swimming today also. And they're all seeking to earn 2 universality spots to represent the Bahamas in Paris. And hopefully we have more athletes, but we know that we will have at least 2.
What is this event doing to bring out the best in Bahamian athletes? When you talk about the last chance to qualify, you know, and again, you're bringing people from all over the world. What is this doing to bring out their A game?
Well, if we put Olympics aside for a second, we have some outstanding junior swimmers. I want to highlight the Mako Aquatics Club, the Blue Wave Swim Club, as well as the Alpha Aquatics Club, and of course the Barracudas. We had the Blue Waves, for example, which is a very small and dynamic team that trains at St. Anne's. They swept the 100-meter butterfly. First, second, and third went to that club. And Mako's did the same thing last night a few times. They swept several races, and Mako is way up front already on day 1. And based on the results, they're expected to repeat for the 6th year as the national swimming champions. So nationals is the season-ending championship, and because it's a season-ending championship, athletes, they train all year to perform at their best level for nationals. And they all know that nationals is also a qualifier for Carifta next year. So if they swim hard at nationals and swim fast, they can earn a Carifta qualifying mark at the National Swimming Championships almost a year early, and that's what makes them exciting.
So, I mean, there's so many opportunities to win with this
exactly.
function. When it comes to events like these, swimming championships, obviously they're very costly endeavors. Can you talk about some of your sponsors who've come on board?
Yeah, we have quite a bit of sponsors, and I want to recognize all of our sponsors who come forward to support Bahamas Aquatics Federation. Subway Bahamas, they've been a multi-year sponsor of our federation, as well as CIBC First Caribbean, and also CFAL. They came forward to sponsor the National Swimming Championships. And what is exciting is that while we have lost some of the big sponsors, in the past, nationals used to be broadcast live on TV. Our sponsors have said we no longer can do that. There are many other small sponsors who've come forward to support the federation. And what we are happy about is that we're the only country in the Caribbean, and certainly the only federation in the Bahamas, to have won the Carifta Championships for 6 straight years. As a matter of fact, we've won 8 of the last 9 years of Carifta swimming. But this, notwithstanding the success of these athletes who work so hard to represent the Bahamas, the corporate Bahamas is not coming forward as we would like to sponsor or to ensure that these championships are broadcast on TV. It used to be broadcast. Our broadcast sponsor has asked for a considerable sum to broadcast. We simply can't afford it. The money is not in swimming as it is in other sports, but nonetheless, we're happy to represent the Bahamas at the highest level.
Can you talk a little bit about the Student Athlete Award, which is coming up
Absolutely.
this year?
What we think also positions us differently is that we recognize at these championships outstanding swimmers who have qualified to compete in nationals who have a GPA of a minimum 3.5 on the 4.0 scale. And this year, we are again recognizing over 150 student athletes with outstanding academic record. So what we know from the study that's been going on for multiple years is that there is a very strong positive relationship or correlation between swimming and academics because of the amount of time required to prepare to swim and go to school at the same time. You have to learn time management skills. You have to be able to balance all of the challenges. And so our swimmers are very disciplined and they actually learn to manage their homework, to study, and to train. And when you see this happening with 150 swimmers, the overall feeling is kind of infectious in that it excites and motivates even more swimmers to want to do well academically, because having to train should not be an excuse of not having to study. And we really want to focus on our motto for this year is that there's triumph in every stroke. And certainly the more you train, you're learning life skills to help you in the pool, in the classroom, and in life in general.
Okay, we're just about out of time, but just remind us when and where if folks want to watch the rest of the games.
Yes. First off, we're not live on TV, and let me say that. And but at the Betty Kelly Kenny Aquatic Center, we start this morning again at 9 a.m. And the evening session is the opening ceremony, is the first event. That's at 5 p.m. And then swimming starts about 6 o'clock. So every day from 9 a.m. until about noon, and 6 o'clock until about 10 p.m., we have swimming, except for Sunday when we start at 5. So it's today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Betty Kelly Kenny Aquatic Center at the Queen Elizabeth Complex.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for
Thank
telling
you.
us about the incredible work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here. Yeah.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Alive Business SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Alive Business at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
African Things is your one-stop shop for everything African. Make a bold fashion statement with vibrant colors and intricate patterns inspired by the beauty of Africa. Find trendy contemporary looks for every occasion and enjoy custom tailoring. Shop jewelry, purses, art, cosmetics, and much more. African Things is located in the Dugard Plaza, Palmdale, next to McDonald's. Open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come get your African Things.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another fantastic Friday. Longest day, shortest night. We're so glad you stuck with us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, hoping that you're still having a happy Friday.
A happy and sunny Friday. Soak up all those good rays, everybody. Now, for those of you whose skin might be a little sensitive or them who's be bleaching, you cannot stay in the sun too long, but you can get a little bit. You can get a little bit. Yeah, you take the umbrella and go sit under the tree, right?
Wow.
Yeah, we on it. We love the sun. Hope you had a great first half of the show, right? Happy Men's Health Month, reminding folks to go and get themselves checked out, especially us men. Take care of your health, your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. Sometimes you just need to talk. Go talk to a fellow man, go talk to a priest, go talk to your doctor. We got to get it out there. We carry a lot, and we got to be there for each other. Men's Health Month.
I love that. I am 100% in support of that. And I am 100% in support of Team Bahamas at the National Swimming Championships. You definitely want to go out if you are a sports fan. This is live sports that you can watch all weekend long. And of course, you can support Team Bahamas as this is the last stand for 90 countries around the world to qualify for the Paris Olympics. So really exciting stuff happening this weekend.
Yeah, I'm getting used to this idea that you got to come to the Bahamas to get what you need, right? They did it for NACAC the other day with the track and field. Now we're doing it for swimming. What's next? The Bahamas is the place to be. It's how you find paradise. You got to come to paradise to get to paradise.
I know, we're the new home of sports.
There you go. What sport you playing next?
Me?
Yeah.
Advanced level shopping.
I am a part of the National Parking League, the NPL. Oh, y'all ain't know about Rambo Watch. Y'all need to go back and watch the sport.
Y'all don't understand that I learned from my grandmother, shopping is a professional sport because really, if you start at like 8 a.m. in the morning at a mall and you walk for 6-7 hours, I feel like that's athletic level.
And you're carrying bags.
Exactly. And then you're in your hotel room, you're lifting. Does this feel like 70 pounds? I'm just saying, I feel like it needs it deserves its recognition in athletics.
Y'all, let's support Gabrielle getting to the Olympics for shopping. We're going to put out there, she's going to bring home the gold, right? We appreciate y'all sticking with us. We got a lot coming up in our second half. We'll be discussing the Department of Rehabilitative and Welfare Services in our Bridging the Gap segment.
And Miranda Adderley is here to discuss International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. But before all that, we'll take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather at sunrise, the tropics. And we take a look at the tropics this morning. We have in the southwestern Atlantic Ocean, we have an area of cloudiness, showers, and thunderstorms, 175 miles to the north of the Bahamas. That's the same system moved along the coast over the last couple of days. Overnight, it became more organized, and so there's a 50% chance of development as that move west-northwest about 10 to 15 knots. And then in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, we have an area of cloudiness, showers, and thunderstorms that is forecast to become an area of low pressure over the next several days. That too has a 60% chance of development in the next 7 days, even becoming tropical depression by early next week. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation expected during the next 7 days. On the local scene, though, we do have a mid-upper level troughing, and that's going to cause some showers and thunderstorms, particularly cloudiness over the central and southeastern islands, a couple of those moving in northwest Bahamas from time to time during the weekend. In the marine forecast today, those winds east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet. Over the northwest Bahamas, easterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday, those winds continue east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the northwest Bahamas. Easterly at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Then on Sunday, those winds are easterly 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 7:52 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 1:53 this afternoon. High gain this evening at 8:23. Sunset a minute past 8 this evening. Rising at 6:21. UV index 9. Your water temperature 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And the moon phase full moon. Your extended outlook. That troughing will mid to upper level troughing will continue to trigger off some pockets of showers and thunderstorms over the islands over the next couple of days. For the most part, over central and southeastern islands, the temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s daytime, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That puts her up on your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. With me now is Angelo King. He is a probation officer with the Department of Rehabilitative and Welfare Services, and he is here to tell us all about their department and what they do. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Early in the morning, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, we update early. That's how we roll. Appreciate you being here. So let's roll. How is the Department of Rehabilitative and Welfare Services structured?
Well, at the Department of Rehabilitative and Welfare Services, what we have is the probation unit, which is that has a juvenile unit, an adult unit, and what we like to call an aftercare unit. There also is the National Parenting Program, and then there is the William A. Pratt Center for Girls, Simpson's Penn Center for Boys, and then we also have the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, where we actually have welfare officers there.
Right. And so, you know, in the name, Rehabilitative and Welfare Services. So the goal of the unit is to, you know, help persons that might have been sent to one of these facilities, persons that are assigned help from the government. Tell us how you do your work as a probation officer.
Well, it actually depends on which unit you're in.
Right.
With the juvenile unit, of course, we have youth offenders that come into us. That's one part of the unit. We're basically a hand of the court, and basically we help the court basically monitor the children, and basically when they're given their judicial orders to make sure they carry them out. There also is an investigation part where we actually do home visits. We actually look into the family to see if there's any dynamics that actually can help the child or actually help the parent. If need be, then we refer them to the National Parenting Program. That's where they come in, which they also do anger management courses, and basically to try to see if we can get our youths back on track, because we can clearly see that we have some difficulties inside of the home.
Yes.
In reference to the adult unit, there are, of course, adult offenders that come into our unit. They're given some judicial orders by the court. Our job is to make sure that they carry them out. If they don't carry them out, we basically make reports, sending it back to the court, and then at that particular time, the magistrate or justice will make a decision on what the penalty will be, which usually isn't nice.
I can imagine, right? You might become a resident at one of these facilities that you were referring to.
Yes, sir.
So speaking about the juvenile offenders, what are some of the common offenses we're seeing? What are some of the common pitfalls and traps that we find our youth getting caught in?
Well, to be honest, there has been a rise inside possession of unlicensed firearm. That is very concerning, especially with our youth offenders. That is very, like I said, it's very concerning. Usually what you have is the normal causing harm, the assault. There's been more of a negative interaction with police, I would say, because you have a lot of our youth offenders having resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer, obscene language, disorderly behavior. And that is very concerning, because, you know, the police officer is supposed to be actually helping us, and to see our youths having disgruntled moments with the police officer, that doesn't seem to be something that I think is actually beneficial to society at this particular point. But like I said, you know, it's increased over the years. When I first joined the department, you didn't really have a lot of major crimes with the youths. Usually you see it with adults, of course, but now we're seeing a rise with very violent offenses.
So with the William A. Pratt Center and the Simpson Penn Center for Boys, how do they seek to rehabilitate, let's say, juvenile offenders, the residents there? How do we seek to get them rehabilitated and back, you know, with their families, back in their homes, back living a normal life?
Well, to be honest, if you start from the start, we do not just send them to the centers. We actually try our best to work with the children before they're sent to one of the centers. Usually what we have is a lot of parents that come in, and the first thing they want you to do, I'm tired of her, I'm tired of him, you need to send them up to the boys' school, or they'll say the girls' school, which I say now is the Simpson Penn Center for Boys and the William A. Pratt Center for Girls. What we like to tell parents is, do not wait last minute to bring your children in, because by the time they reach us, they're very frustrated. And we're basically trying to let them know, hey, we have to actually work with the child. And some of them be like, I already did this, I sent them to police, but you didn't bring them to us. And did they receive professional help? Of course, you know, they'll say we've been to the church, which I believe spirituality does have a role to play within youth, but you need a little bit more than that. Most of our issues, I think, is because of parenting. And if we can solve the idea of parenting, then I think we actually can get back on the right track. But once they are sent to the boys' school and the girls' school, With the boys' school, we have art therapy, and we also have farming, and you can tell that the residents, the young men, take pride in planting, growing plants, growing fruits, vegetables, and when it's time to eat, they can actually pick it and they actually can help. You can see a sense of pride with them. When it comes to the young ladies, we have the Bahamas Agricultural Industrial Corporation, where they actually make jewelry, soaps, and then you have what we like to call GGYA, which is the Governors General Youth Awards. They have cooking classes, and also you have pathfinders.
Right. So, and we hear about the instances in the news of crime, and we think it's all doom and gloom. Tell me, what does a success story look like, where you get a juvenile that comes into your program at the right time, with the right support, and ends up in the best scenario possible?
Well, let me ask you, there is two particular parts. One of the one I think I didn't say was what we like to call beyond parental control. I'll give you two examples. One of the examples, if you have a youth offender that came in for that committed an offense. They come in. The magistrate or the justice will give them some judicial orders. They will carry them out. Once they have completed, I write the court, letting them know that basically that he or she has completed. Once that is done, there is a process afterwards that they're let back into society, and sometimes you see them later on, they'll see you, they'll write back, or they'll come back to the office, letting you know that they attending school, they're in college, they have found a job, and they actually appreciate and come back to let us know that they are thankful for what we did for them. When it comes to beyond parental control, these are more parents that have issues with controlling their kids. And when that happens, you can see success stories where we actually work with the child, do our best. And at the end of their supervision, because we have supervision orders, then you actually see them, the story would be the same. They end up going to school, going to college, going away, getting a job, and coming back and thanking us for the job well done.
Fantastic. And that's a small sect, I guess, of what you might go through. And the welfare unit and rehabilitative services unit can't do it all by yourselves. And you need the family structure, you need the parents to get involved. So as we wrap up, just what advice do you have for parents so that they don't end up in this type of situation?
I would tell mothers and fathers to be involved in their children's life. I think 90% of the problem from which I've seen is basically parenting, like I said before. Parents need to be more involved, and parents actually need to parent. That is the biggest factor. There was report card day that is just, I think it was yesterday, and you would be surprised how many parents will not collect report cards. And I think in a lot of cases, especially when it gets to the junior high and senior high level, there are parents that, to be honest, know their children didn't do well, or may know their children are disruptive and probably don't feel some type of shame in picking up the report card and meeting teachers that may have some not so pleasant comments about their children. We need to spend time with our kids. I understand that we all work and we actually get home, but at that particular time, you can't go in the family group, watch Netflix, worry about boyfriend and girlfriend. You actually have to figure out what's going on with your children, knowing what's happening. Most parents don't know if their children are smoking, if they're in gangs, if they're sexually active, who their friends are, what's going on with them. So I just think we need to be more keen on parenting.
Very sound advice. We thank you for all the work that you do, you and your unit, all of your partners. For the parents out there, if you want to find out more information about the parenting program, reach out to Brother King. How do they find you?
They can contact us on 376-3850, and that's the office cell. Usually when you call that, you definitely will get an answer.
Perfect. We thank you for being here this morning. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to turning the tide in our youth and building the next generation of leaders, men and women leaders. Thank you for all the things that you do.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
All right.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, and we'll be right back.
Know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
What if you were told that you could learn about all the opportunities in all of Andros in one day? Well, you could participate in the Andros Business Outlook, Thursday, June 27th at the Andros Lighthouse Yacht Club in Fresh Creek, Andros. Register today at tclevents.com.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
Welcome back. The International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, or World Drug Day, is observed on June 26th to strengthen action and cooperation in achieving a world free of drug abuse. Joining me now to discuss the criminal aspects is Miranda Adderley, private and public criminal defense attorney at Miranda M. Adderley & Co. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Yes. So how does drug addiction often lead to criminal behavior?
In my experience, what I've seen in the courts is that a lot of crimes like stealing, housebreaking, they stem from persons who suffer from substance abuse, from addiction. So I would say that a good percentage of what I see in terms of criminal behavior stems from persons who are suffering from some type of either drug abuse, substance abuse, or mental health issue. So I do see a correlation between drug abuse and the criminal element, because most of these persons would have to have a need to support their habit. And if they're not working and if they're not in the economic capacity to afford their habit, then the addiction drives them to find ways to afford to get what they need.
Wow. What are the main challenges as it relates to the criminal justice system when you're, prosecuting these these offenders who are also drug abusers?
Yes. Some of the issues that I see, one being that these persons sometimes are not criminals per se, versus persons who need help. So I would say what I've noticed is that the criminal justice system focuses on punitive measures. We're going to punish you, especially those who are convicted of possession. So we're talking about persons who are found with 20 grams or less of, whether it's marijuana or cocaine or amphetamines or other drugs that we see. And they're being punished. They're being sent to jail for up to 18 months or 12 months. However, once they serve their time and come out, the issue is still there. So if we don't have things in place where they're actually being supported in getting rid of the habit that's causing the criminal element, then they just end up in the system rotating. So I think what would be good is that if the criminal justice system, instead of focusing on just punishing them, actually had, places where they could be sent to either be detoxed or rehab or put through certain programs and then monitored through that process versus, all right, you go to jail for 18 months, they come out, they have the same problem or it's even worse now because who knows what they have been exposed to in the prison, and now we're seeing them again and again and again. So I think we need to address the actual issue of the addiction, and then hopefully we don't see them coming back.
Do you find that, the same way that you would have observed that there is this correlation and perhaps even the causation of certain criminal behaviors from drug addiction, do you find that attitudes are shifting perhaps in the courts as it relates to how to approach these kinds of offenders?
Yes, well, I can definitely say in my practice, I've noticed that judges and the courts have taken a more lenient approach to those, especially convicted or charged with offenses related to cannabis use. And I think that that's where the world is heading right now. If you look at a lot of the first world countries, even our neighbors in America, all of the laws now relating to marijuana and cannabis have been decriminalized. So even here in the Bahamas, where in the beginning of my practice 10 years ago, I would have seen persons being sent to jail for possession of marijuana. I'm now seeing courts say, we'll give you probation, we'll let you do a program, you come back in 12 months. Once you've completed the program, then it'll just be a conditional discharge, meaning that it won't be on your record. And once you completed the program to a satisfactory level, then you'd be able to walk away. So they're not turning persons who have these addictions into criminals versus actually trying to help them. And I think that's where we need to go. A start of it, I see in the legislative part is the cannabis bill of 2023, which is now coming on stream to support medical use of marijuana and to decriminalize those who may be found with recreational use of it. And I think that's a good direction to head in.
How do you think that this cannabis bill is going to affect the legal landscape as it relates to drug offenses?
Well, I think we won't have as many persons, obviously, being brought before the courts for those types of offenses. What I think they're leaning towards is maybe if those persons are caught with a certain amount below 20 grams or less, it would more so be like you're given a ticket. So we don't have as much traffic going through the court system. We don't have time being wasted with judges having to sit and hear these, what we call minor offenses, as well as now research is brought to the surface that there are medical uses for this. So it's moving towards a more regulated, controlled environment to operate the cannabis industry in versus it being some underground and nefarious drug dealers in the streets. And I think that's a good thing. There are also been discussions about the economic opportunities that will open up with the cannabis industry for Bahamians to take advantage of. So I think that's the right direction that we should be heading in.
I guess it's kind of a global discussion, especially now that the acceptance of cannabis for legal uses is becoming widespread.
Yes.
To those persons who would have gone to jail, who do have a criminal record because of these offenses that we now consider minor, what are the implications for them?
Well, we do have legislation in place, specifically the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act. So if you have been convicted of small minor drug offenses, you can apply to have those offenses expunged off of your criminal record. So I think that that's a good thing. Once you have not been in any problems within a certain amount of time from the date of your conviction of a minor drug offense, you can apply to have those offenses removed from your record. And I think that also in the government's vision for this cannabis bill and framework, they're also affording persons, I understand, like maybe in the Rastafarian community who may have been targeted because of their marijuana use for religious purposes, and trying to almost give some type of reparation to those persons who would have been targeted before the decriminalization. So now they're being put in the front of the industry, meaning they're given opportunities to start and use cannabis as a way for them to make money, instead of it just being like, it's changed now and the doors are open, But what about those persons, like you said, who had been affected? And I think that's the part that they can pay back by ensuring that those communities that have been affected can get some type of payback for what has happened once it all becomes legal.
You know, we're talking about obviously trying to prevent drug abuse from a legal perspective,
Yes.
but also from a holistic perspective.
Yes.
What do you think those primary activities are that we need to focus on to empower Bahamians and to equip those who may be struggling?
Well, definitely, I think opportunity is education. I think making sure that things are in place for young people. Again, sports, again, church activities, art, junk canoe, all of these things we want to bring into the lives of young people so they aren't persuaded to go and seek drug use or have bad influences because they're idle or because they feel like, okay, I want to make some money and let me get quick money by selling drugs. So we provide opportunities in the community for positive influence versus a negative influence.
And what do you think the importance of institutions like Sandilands Rehabilitation Center in terms of addressing those who already have a drug addiction?
Yes, well, I have personally visited the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, and I am very happy with the work that I see them doing there. I know sometimes they get a bad rep that they just have people there and they're drugging them, but actually when I went and my experience with them, they have a great program. It's called an art therapy program, and they actually have the we say patients, but they actually refer to the persons there as clients, attend art therapy sessions where they're painting, sculpturing, and I find that that is a very good program to help these persons release whatever energy, whatever trauma that they may have experienced in a creative way. And that is an excellent program, and I hope that I see more of that happening with offenders. So instead of you being sentenced maybe to Fox Hill Prison, you may do 6 to 9 months at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, go through their 12-step program, their art therapy programs, and hopefully when you get out of there, you're actually reformed and rehabilitated versus just locked up. Now you're out to go and do the same thing that you were doing before. So places like Sandilands, I think, are very good for those types of issues in our community.
I love it. I feel like you've really informed our audience just as it relates to changing our perspective, on people who may be driven to commit crimes, again, to support their drug abuse habit versus looking at them with a really punitive lens. So thank you for opening my mind, and I'm sure you've opened the mind of our viewers.
Thank you so much, too, for having me again.
Yes, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Thanks, Michelle.
Hey, congratulations on your new promotion.
Even I was surprised.
What are you going to do with that new windfall of yours?
You mean like investing in stocks and bonds?
Yes, you might want to consider investing in mutual funds. Money's a pool to invest in financial assets that fit your investment profile. Start your journey to financial freedom.
How do you know all this? What's Leno?
What if you were told that you could learn about all the opportunities in all of Andros in one day? Well, you can participate in the Andros Business Outlook, Thursday, June 27th at the Andros Lighthouse Yacht Club in Fresh Creek, Andros. Register today at tclevents.com.
It has been a fantastic Friday, as Mark would say, here on Bahamas at Sunrise. Finding out about some incredible things that are happening within the country. You definitely want to find yourself out to to the National Aquatics Championships this weekend to support Team Bahamas. This is their last chance to get to the Paris Olympics, and I'm sure that they would be happy for your support.
Go and support Team Bahamas, but also have yourself a good weekend. Spend time with friends, family. Make it count. Enjoy the sun today. Get out to the beach. Plant your garden. This rain has been coming. I've been seeing all the fruits coming in. So make sure you plant your seeds, get ready, grow your own food. Remember, it's summertime, everybody. Take the time to enjoy yourself, relax, spend time with family. And of course, beach, beach, beach.
Summer solstice.
There you go. Longest day, shortest night. Longest day, shortest night. Longest day, shortest night. Yay! See you on Monday.